Greetings, everyone, and a really warm welcome to Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from the Sunshine Coast in Australia, joined today by Cathy Goodwin. Cathy, very warm g'day from down under. Where are you joining us from?
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the U.S.
Philly's kind of like, I've never been there, but it always seems when I look at the map, it's like one of those big cities that's got everything and it's connected to all these other big cities as well. I mean, you're an hour and a half from just about everywhere, right?
We are right between New York and Washington, yes.
Yeah, and everyone I speak to that lives in Philly for any number of years just loves living there for the richness and diversity of the culture. So it's on my bucket list, Philly. So, Cathy, enough of geography, I guess. We'll get on to the interview. For those of you who don't know, Cathy, she helps service-based small businesses and solopreneurs attract their ideal clients with a unique selling story. And this whole specialty that Cathy has is not only a much more fun way to do your marketing for you, it's also a heck of a lot more fun for your audiences, and it also does all sorts of things in terms of cutting through the reticular activating system so that you get noticed, you get attention, activating the amygdala so that people actually take action, because it shifts people's emotions. And I'm not telling you, Cathy, anything you don't know. It's just for the audience. So folks, you have your ears on, okay? Because this stuff is of so much value on so many different levels. It's really worth diving in a little deeper than just the 7 minutes we've got. So we are going to give you a fuller resource a little bit later. So, Cathy, let's rock and roll. Our 7 minutes starts now. Question number one is, who's your ideal client?
My ideal client is a service-based business owner, small business only. Solopreneurs are ideal for me. They are professionals and they supply a service. I have worked with a couple of retailers, but mostly services, and their objective is to get more clients.
Right, and going from storytelling to story selling, as I said, that's our title, is the way we're going to do that. So tell us about the problem you solve then. What specifically is getting more clients, I guess, but is there anything you want to add to that?
Sure. They have to be not just any client, they have to be the right clients. And a lot of people today in the service business are offering something that their clients don't understand. So One of the reasons we tell stories is because it's a way to explain what you do and how you're unique and how you do it in a way that is not super salesy or obnoxious.
Right. And I mean, if you look at, half the planet have been sold on stories. You just look at what Christ did, Muhammad, Buddha, there's at least 4 billion people who, are following them because of they're told some pretty good stories and some pretty good metaphors and analogies as well. So we know it works. What would you say are the typical symptoms? This is question 3 of someone who needs what you've got. So what's going on in their business where they go, okay, this isn't working?
Yeah, well, some things are that they are not getting a response to their content. They have a website, they have sales letter, they have landing pages, and they're just not getting across what they offer, how they're unique. A lot of times they come because the clients are confused, and also they have trouble creating content, because for some people that's a major barrier, and stories help you create content more efficiently.
That's so true. And so many of our clients have just struggled with the words and struggled, how do I get my message across? And yet it could all be encapsulated beautifully in the right story. So they're not getting runs on the board, but they're doing some marketing. They're just not getting noticed, not getting cut through, not getting new clients coming regularly. We're talking about, by and large, service providers, people that operate at, reasonably intellectual or cerebral level. They're growth orientated. They're smart people. Generally, they're working hard. So they're going to be trying stuff. So question 4 is, what would you say are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to get new clients on board before they find your solution?
Right. Well, as you said, they are smart, and the people I work with tend to be experienced. They're usually not beginners. They're at that next level. But what's happened is they get so caught up in what they do and in telling their story. So you look at their website, and their website is all about them. Or they look at you look at the sales letter, it's all about them, what they do, what they offer, or they tell the wrong story. A lot of times they'll tell a story about them, about how they suffered and how they went through, one person is talking about how they slept in a church basement on a bare mattress for 2 years. And that is not usually an ideal story. Or they say how they started the business, an origin story, because a lot of guides will tell you, talk about how you got here. And most of the time, that is not the story that you want to tell. So they are told to tell stories, but they pick the wrong story, which might actually turn off their clients, or they don't tell a story. They don't have a story in their mind about their clients. So they're just talking about themselves.
Folks, you're listening to the voice of an expert, and I know this is true. I couldn't have articulated all that the way you have, Cathy. But when I hear you say it, there's so many light bulbs going off, and so many references to work that I've done with particular clients. They're not building that relevance, are they, in their story? It's a story that's maybe near and dear to their heart. Maybe it's a story of transformation. But how I went from sleeping on the mattress in the basement of a church to where I am today may not be relevant to people who aren't sleeping on on a mattress in the basement of a church, particularly if they're, I don't know, Jewish or Buddhist or something. Anyway, that's a little tongue in cheek. But let's move on to question 5, because it's 2.5 minutes left. I want to flip it. What would you say is a top tip, a valuable free action someone could take? It's not going to solve the whole problem, but it might just start them a step in the right direction.
Right. Well, the first thing you want to do is, what I always tell a client is, let's look at 3 success stories, 3 ways you worked with clients and you were successful. And we'll use that as a basis to identify what you do well and what you do best and go from there. And the second thing you do is, I'm going to be talking briefly about a free resource people can get. Most important thing you can do is find your client's backstory. What is going through their minds when they come to you? Right. What is the elephant in the room? And then your story answers their story.
Gotcha. Right. So their backstory might be, I've done all this marketing, I've tried these things, I've done all these courses, and your client's backstories, and none of it's worked. So you would fashion a story based on those stories.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Excellent. Top tip. Thank you. With 90 seconds left, 2 questions to go. One valuable free resource. Where can people find out more and download some cool stuff from you?
Well, I have a free publication, a free ebook called Identifying Where Your Client, Entering the Conversation of the Client's Mind. And I call it as Cathy Goodwin, my name, cathygoodwin.com/baggage. And that's because you want to know what the client's baggage is. What's the elephant in the room? What are they bringing with them that they don't want to talk about? And that, if once you know that, you can tell a great story and reach them.
Terrific. Folks, that's Cathy, Cathy, Goodwin.com/baggage as to what you're going to check in at the airport. A surprising way to discover what really motivates your target market. It's midnight. Yes. Do you know what's keeping your client awake?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So it's clear to me. I mean, I won't go on, but it's clear to me you know a lot about psychology and a lot about marketing, a lot about articulating messages as well. But we've only got 33 seconds left. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
What is the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when they want to tell a story?
I'm all ears. What is it?
It's just as we said, it's a story where they feel they should they bare their soul, they should be vulnerable. I wish no one ever had said that. They want to share their worst mistake and talk about themselves. Instead, forget all that, read my ebook and tell the client story. Respond to the
Cathy Goodwin, I really appreciate not just your time, but the depth of your insights based on what I can only imagine must be decades of experience. Folks, go get it at cathygoodwin.com/get-baggage. And once again, Cathy, thanks for your time. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.